All right. Guess we're starting. Huh. Fantastic. Oh, maybe I should just like add in your name or something like that here. Let's. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's do that. You are Tim Kim, right?
Yeah.
Your Twitter is.
@TimKim.
Oh, this is not a Mac. @Tim Kim, and your email address is T. Do you mind?
Yeah,
or
go ahead.
should
Go ahead.
Tim
K.
TK
Tim K.
Tim K at
Yeah, the European style
yeah,
layout.
I know.
Just
Adobe.com. There you go.
there you go.
All right. This is fun. Let's play that. Okay. This is fun. We've got someone from Cordova.
Hello.
This is Tim. Say hi.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was going to present today, but here I am.
Hey, it's going to be more fun with him around because he can say a lot more things. I'm just going to do the boring stuff. So this presentation is about porting apps, porting your application that's already existing on the Apache Cordova and bringing it into BlackBerry 10, right? My name is Justin Lee. That's my details over there. I work for BlackBerry. And I am an application development consultant, mainly focusing on web technologies and also native Cascades technologies and etc. This is Tim. This is Tim Kim from Adobe. And last minute, just like, hey, you're from Cordova. Let's get you up here.
Yeah, I literally got roped into this like 10 minutes ago.
Yes,
so.
but you enjoy this, right?
Yes,
Of
yes.
course, we enjoy talking to you guys. So I think what's going to happen is I'm just going to quickly go through how to quickly just port over the Apache, your application that's already on Cordova into BlackBerry 10, which is very simple. I can finish it within 10 minutes or so, and then we'll keep it like flowy, whatever you want to show, right? I'm sure you've done it many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll show fun stuff. I'm quite excited now. All right. So without further ado, so Apache Cordova, this is, Apache Cordova is actually called PhoneGap. Maybe Tim, you might want to give the history between PhoneGap and Cordova and what the differences are.
Okay, so a few years back, about 2.5 years ago, PhoneGap was originally created by a company called Nitobi. And yeah, that was a company I used to work for. And then about 1.5 years ago, we recently got acquired by Adobe. And one of the stipulations for moving to Adobe was to donate the PhoneGap code to the Apache Foundation, which is why we're now called Apache Cordova, because an unnamed clothing company had issues with a certain part of PhoneGap. They shall remain nameless.
I'm sure we all know.
So yeah, so most people still know it as PhoneGap, but just think of that as what was it? There's some a committer of ours. He said it's spelled Cordova but pronounced PhoneGap is the way to think about it.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yeah.
So that's one way of thinking about it. And if you don't know what PhoneGap is, it's essentially launching a web view and writing your whole app in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all that good stuff. Basically, it's basically like WebWorks.
It is good. It is WebWorks.
Yeah.
Pretty much, right? Which I actually got quite a bit of interesting things that are surprised from Cordova that it's actually the same as WebWorks.
Yeah.
A few of the technologies that we're going to talk about later, right? So Cordova, it's I think it's built on using our BlackBerry WebWorks SDK, etc. All the top tiers and support for the applications. These are some of the applications that we PhoneGap supports. Or Cordova, whichever one you want to talk about. And as you notice, it's all our BB7 devices and below. The newer ones, of course, would be the Playbook, right? And of course, our BlackBerry 10 device and Dev Alpha and so on and so forth. So the one that I want to talk about more is the more of the BlackBerry 10, the Z10 that we've been talking about. So porting to BlackBerry 10. I'm just gonna like breeze through this.
Go for it.
So what do you need for this? porting BlackBerry 10 to BlackBerry 10. So which Java SDK do you need?
Which Java one?
Yeah, which SDK version?
I don't remember, but it's probably
Alright.
like the latest one. Doesn't really matter.
No, not really. Not really, actually.
Oh, it does.
So for our WebWorks, actually, we require Java 1.6.
1.6.
In
okay.
fact, right? In order to actually run some of our tools. Right?
The AND tools?
No. Some of our tools, which is
Okay.
the WebWorks stuff, the BBWP.
Okay, I get you.
Right, that one. Right, so you require 1.6 would be a nice base as Java development kit to actually install. You need Apache Ant because, yeah, Ant is awesome. Of course, you also need to download our WebWorks SDK from our developer.blackberry.com/html5. You have to request for signing keys, and of course, you just have a nice code editor, which I am currently using Sublime. Very good code editor. The workflow is essentially this. You create the Cordova project, you edit the project. What's it called? Something properties.project.
Yeah.
Right? You edit that file, you build the bar file, you deploy it into the simulator, or rather the device, and bam, that's it. Simple. Okay? So I'm not going to show that. I am going to show this. There we go. I am just, do you want to sit? I'll give you this chair.
Okay.
I'll sit down here. And let me show you, and you can correct me if I do anything wrong.
Okay.
All right, so let's see. I'm going to do everything in command line. Let's see whether if I can get all these things up. So right now, I am going to Cordova. Wait, where did I put this stuff in? I put it in. Where did I put it in? Sorry, I put it in BBDev. Yes, that's right. There we go. PhoneGap. That's where I put it in. So under PhoneGap, right? When you download the zip file, right? The PhoneGap version 2.3 right now. Download the zip file, and you also install the application, the WebWorks. The WebWorks is in Mac is actually located in developer SDK there, 4.7, which is the latest one right now. All right, this is where it's been located. All right, so just remember where the location is, because this is where all our tools are. So the first things first, what you want to do is you want to set up the properties and whatnot. So you go to the lib, you go to BlackBerry, you go to sample, right?
Yeah.
And essentially, you will see something called project.properties over here, project.properties. Is the text okay, big enough, small enough? Everybody can read it? Yes? Great, awesome. So project.properties. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to use Vim. I'm just going to do a simple project properties over here. And what you need to do is essentially, if you're on a Windows machine, this is exactly the same also. All you need to do is just C:// So what you need is essentially on the QNX. So do a search on all the QNX or BlackBerry, depending on what you're targeting. Right? In this case, I'm going to target the BlackBerry Z10. Right? So what you want to do is do a search on QNX. Every line with QNX, right, you want to actually put in the directories, or rather fill in the gaps. So in this case, the QNX bbwp.directory is developer./sdk/research in motion, BlackBerry 10 WebWorks SDK 1.0.4.7. This is the latest one that I downloaded. And then, of course, you do another search of QNX. The next one is the BB10 code signing password, and this is essentially for the signing key itself. What you need to do is you need to go to over here, developer.blackberry.com, right? Get your signing key over here. Get your signing key. There we go. Okay. Get your signing key. Select the signing key that you want, which is this one over here. You just do your first name, your last name, and so forth, your email address, right? And then let's say Netherlands, right? And then you just type the PIN. And what you need to do is, after you get that, right, you get 2 files for the keys, right, that you assign, the signing keys, and you need to install the signing keys. After you've installed the signing keys, they'll ask you for a password. And this is the password that you actually set it. I just set it for a default Rocket 11 password. This is something that, you know, I just set randomly, right? But you have to remember that password. So after that, the next one, just do a search QNX simulator. Right now, I'm not going to deploy to a simulator, but if you have a simulator, you want to add the IP address, the password, and the simulator IP and the password. However, what I want is the device itself. So let me go higher. So the device IP 169.254.0.1, let me show you where I get that from. Go to BlackBerry. Oops, that was the previous one. Go to BlackBerry, go to settings, all right? So in order to do all that, go to settings, go to security and privacy, go to development mode, and turn on development mode. And you can actually set the IP address over here. All right, you set the IP address, you plug it in, you plug it in, and essentially that's pretty much it. You'll be able to send in the device, or rather the application, into the device. So that's what you need. Next, I am going to do this, and then do that, and plug it in right now. And essentially, after you plug it in, you've got the IP address and everything, right? You need to set up the password. So if I turn the development mode off, okay, and I turn it back on, I have to set the password. My password is actually very simple, okay? So let's go back here. My password is just HOLY, okay? And the device pin, you need to add this in here so that it can actually create the debug tokens and all of that stuff that can be created. So in order to get this pin, where do you get it from? You come here, go back to the settings page, back, go to about, go to hardware, and you can see the pin over there. Got it? All right. So with that, we've got it all set up. With that, we got it all set up, and that's pretty much it. So you put your application or your web application, put it in, and basically, what's next? Ant, right?
Sure. Or you can use the Cordova scripts.
Oh, Cordova scripts.
Just use the Ant tool so you're just more familiar with that.
So Ant, target is QNX. After that would be
Load device.
No, I want debug device.
Oh, you want debug?
Yes.
Okay.
I want to debug device. So so do that. Ant QNX debug device, and it will create a debug version of your application, and it will automatically load it into the BlackBerry over here, and I have it over here. It's loading, it's loading, it's loading. There we go. And this is a sample application. Basically, we are able to do also Web Inspector, so you can actually remotely inspect this page itself. Let me just give you a quick look at it, right? Inspecting that, so that is 169.254.0.1, 1337. Oops, too many threes, that's right. 1337, it comes here, I get here to Hello World. I'm able to show everything that is running on that page itself, all right? So if you come back here to the BlackBerry, I'm able to also, highlight, and you can see that. So that's pretty much it. Done. That's it. All right, so starting from now, do you have any questions so far before we carry on? Yes, sir.
For the config files, can you go over some of the differences? Can you use any of the features from WebWorks within PhoneGap? And are those permissions different?
So configuration, so we're talking about, let's go back here, the config.xml, right? All right, let's take a look. Maybe you can say something about that. Do you have
Sure.
any idea?
Well, if you go into the www folder and you bring up the config.xml, that holds all the permissions and all kind of like your ID and your name of your app. And if you keep on going down, you'll see all these feature IDs being enabled, and those are all the IDs needed to get the Cordova API working. So, for example, the file stuff, the media APIs, geolocation, contacts, all those good Cordova APIs. And if you go further down, there's like keep going down.
Oh, going down?
Yeah.
Oh, the Cordova stuff. Right?
So that's like the whitelist stuff. To note, it does say expose to all our URIs using the wildcard. I find that in practice, you actually have to list out almost a full URL most times. So if you're going to like some sort of like API service like Google Maps or something like that, just do like maps.google or whatever the sort of like the shortened kind of like URL.
Well, usually what you would do is you would use a wildcard.
You know what? I find that
Doesn't.
yeah, I
Oh,
find the wildcard
yeah.
doesn't work for me most of the time, so I just end up just kind of
Just writing the whole entire domain, right?
yeah, pretty much. And yeah, there's other stuff in there like setting your icons and like the loading screen and stuff like that. And the content source equals index HTML is like the way to launch.
But I mean,
Whatever.
like pretty much everything you see here is the standard config.xml from BlackBerry,
Yeah.
from our WebWorks SDK.
Pretty much.
Anything different from that's additional from Cordova?
There's nothing really that different. I mean, unless
Yeah.
you want to add in your own native extensions, then you start going
Having fun.
Yeah, then you start going down that route. I can explain that in my part. of
Yeah,
the
I think
discussion, guess.
let's wait for the more advanced stuff a little bit later.
Okay.
Any other questions first?
Oh, I was going to say in the past I've had to change the config files when I want to load it up on Android versus
Yeah, so there are a few differences in terms of
a one-size-fit-all config.
Yeah,
file.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
use to kind of
yeah.
slightly change it.
So the question was the configuration file, you have to change it based on the different devices. And yes, right?
Yeah, so I can actually add a little more to that. There's been a discussion on the mailing list for Cordova about sort of having sort of a more unified config.xml sort of the markup. So the way it works right now, like we just said, like every sort of platform has their own sort of little quirks about how to whitelist, what your app name is, all those good things. And so when you deploy to Android or you deploy to BlackBerry, they're going to be a little different, obviously.
Yeah. Any other questions? Do you want to see something cool? That's totally out of this presentation. By the way, like those people who are interested in the porting Cordova portion of the application of the presentation, it's done. Surprise. Okay. So yes.
The plugin system in the Apache Cloud.
Yes, the plugin system in.
Release it now for
So the question is the plugin system in Cordova, is it available in our BlackBerry 10?
Yes.
Yes.
Basically, if you can make a WebWorks extension, you can make it for PhoneGap. And I was actually going to show
Yep.
some of the work I've done to make a simple plugin work in PhoneGap.
I think a lot of people are interested then.
Yeah?
Seems
You guys
to
wanna see
second
that?
questions,
All
right? Yeah. All right, let's take it off.
Yeah.
Which one? This one?
2, yeah. So like I said, I got roped into this like 10 minutes ago. I don't have anything prepared
Don't
really.
worry.
So let's hope this all goes well. Yeah, where to start? So the way that plugins work, I guess in BlackBerry WebWorks, is that you have 3 files that you definitely need, which is the index.js, the manifest.json, and the client.js. And all those do different things. So let's just look at this is the simple one I got right here. So it's going to, so your structure of your plugin kind of looks like this. There's a client.js, index.js, and manifest.json. And I have this plugin, and essentially, it's a very simple plugin that you basically call from JavaScript from the PhoneGap side. It transmits a message down to the native side, and the native side echoes back to the JavaScript side, so which is why it's called Cordova.echo. So the way I have it all laid out, let's just take a look at the client.js, I guess. Yeah, so if you're familiar with using the extensions, it's pretty simple. What we're doing here is making the calls available, I believe, to the native side, so or the JavaScript side. So I have this do echo thing, and I'm basically going to call this, and I'm going to give them the message, and it's going to pass it back to the native side. So if I look at index.js, or is that the other way around? I might have that the other way around.
Which one?
Yeah, no, I got it the right way. So the client.js will talk to index.js, and then there's this JNX stuff. I don't know how familiar you are with this. I only learned about this like a few months ago. So I don't know the exact sort of details of it, but essentially it's a way to transmit JavaScript message to the native side. And the way that it works is by using jnext.invoke, and this is calling the native side, and it's going to pass in my arguments I put in there. And the way that looks on this side is I got my C++ files, so your basic header file with my do echo function that I got there. So that's the thing I'm calling from here. And the way it actually looks, it's like this. So it's going to do some stuff. And then when it actually invokes that method, what we're going to do is bring in excuse me, the commands and see the do echo part. And I'm just going to return that as a do echo message. So I'll bring it back to the JNext portion of, no, this one. So yeah, so it's going to trigger this echo callback, I believe, and then that's going to filter all the way back to the JavaScript side. I hope I've described that well enough. Like I said, I don't have a presentation or whatever. Maybe you can talk to me afterwards. Or
yeah. So
yeah,
I want to show you guys a little bit more stuff over here. So we actually have a bunch of let's maximize that. We actually have under the WebWorks community APIs. We actually have a whole bunch of native extensions that we've written with exactly the same methods that Tim had just gone through with the JNext and everything. And it's exactly the same to write native extensions on our WebWorks, exactly the same, the three basic files. And this is something that has been a huge request from a lot of our developers, which is not available on our WebWorks, which is to prevent sleeping, right? Prevent the device from sleeping. And it's something that I've been actually trying to get it out there over here. So essentially, it's just the three files that you were talking about, right? It's these three files, the index.js, right?
Yeah, the index.js.
And the next one is the client.js. And where is the next one?
The manifest.json. It's basically a way to name your app. It
Right.
gives it a namespace.
Oh, there we go. Back. Come on. Okay, there we go. So essentially that's pretty much it, right? And you can get a lot of the samples and codes all the way from here. And we actually have quite a bit of interesting examples, or rather not so much examples, but useful extensions over here. Like for example, preventing sleep. This is very, very important for for games actually. For games that are written in HTML5 games that require this. Other things like vibration, screen, thumbnail, and so on and so forth, which is tighter integration into our BlackBerry 10 development device itself. So a lot of interesting things that you can do. In order to understand like how to actually do this, right, in terms of the C++ portion of it, what Tim showed was just a simple echo. But if you want to actually integrate specific features from the BlackBerry 10 operating system itself, where you want to go is to get more information, developer.blackberry.com/native. All right. And essentially, you have to fall back into the native APIs in order to do certain things specific to BlackBerry 10 to develop extensions for that.
Yeah, so if you're trying to import an app from like Android or iOS and the plugins aren't written in BlackBerry 10, they're not going to work, obviously, because there's just no implementation there. So that's one thing you got to consider if you're trying to port it from Android or iOS or any other kind of platform with native plugins,
Right.
that you're going to have to create your own. Otherwise, if you're not the creator of those plugins, it just might be the author has created a BlackBerry 10 version. But it's probably not likely since iOS and Android are the more popular platforms, and usually people kind of ignore BlackBerry, unfortunately.
Well, let's hope we change that soon.
I'm not from BlackBerry, so I'm allowed to say these things. But anyways, but there are a few people who've done some good work. Don Coleman in particular, if you go to his GitHub repo /Don, he's done a whole bunch of plugin work, and he's a pretty big name. So I think his PhoneGap NFC stuff works on the older BlackBerries and as well as the new BlackBerry 10, but I haven't tried it. So take that with a grain of salt. Anyways, yeah, so while I was developing all sort of this native extension stuff for Cordova, my main sort of goal was to make it work in the repo. And this is kind of what the repo looks like. It's a little, actually I might have a better one. Here we go. Yeah, that one's kind of like my working one where I put like files everywhere and stuff like that. So this is a little different from like the PhoneGap download you get from like the PhoneGap site. This is the actual repo that makes that download. I find that while the download's good to work with in Arrow, this is a much more powerful way of sort of creating your PhoneGap applications just from the Git repo. And you can find that repo at, if you go to Cordova, I can spell, .io, it should give you the links to the ASF stuff. So maybe you want to check that out. But like the actual repo is like, yeah, it's some crazy thing like at GitHub. So there's that. In any case, yeah, so I was trying to figure out a good way of trying to get native extensions in BlackBerry 10, and it's been a bit of a headache just because I'm not a C++ developer, so I kind of had to learn all the QNX internals and stuff like that and figure out the make files, which I hadn't done since school.
So, by the way, just curiously, just a quick information about that. Right? If you want to create extensions, right? So let's take a look. We actually have a template that you can actually reuse to create extensions. If you take a look over here, there is this thing called a template, right? Which you can actually just take exactly this whole entire template, modify it, and specific to your extension. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, it was like,
it wasn't working back then.
That's what I noticed.
Exactly, I know. It wasn't working back then. And also, it's actually integrated into our IDE. Let me get it here, out there. And let me see if I can push it over there to the other screen. Give me a second, it's loading. Let me bring it to the other screen over here. All right, so basically, what you can do is you go File, New, what am I doing? File, New Project, right?
Yeah.
You go to BlackBerry Project, and essentially you can click on the native extensions here, and the BlackBerry Web Works, and it will automatically create a template for you, with the index.js, right, and the manifest, and basically sample skeleton C++ code that you can actually start modifying and compiling, and that's it. So basically, this template allows you to create that basic framework that you require for your plugins. So this is one way that you can actually do that without Makefile.
Yeah, well, I was about to get to that. So I was using the Makefile version a little while ago, and I actually got it to work. I don't know if I still have that stuff around. Probably.
We're really getting into very deep. Are you guys lost yet? Any questions so far?
Yeah, so if we take a look at this in this repo, again, I'm sorry for the messiness of my repo. Framework, ext, QNX, Cordova Echo. Yeah, so I was trying to get like the whole QNX sort of makefile stuff to work, and it was working at one point, and then they updated the SDK and it stopped working, which was really unfortunate. But in the future, I'm trying to figure out a way to basically compile everything within the BlackBerry Cordova repo and not have to rely on the QNX stuff, which what I ended up having to do anyways. So yeah, like this is still a work in progress, but.
So what do you mean by QNX stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, so they're, the way that they described it on the website to build a native extension is to use the QNX stuff, and
yeah,
because
IDE, right?
Yeah, the IDE. But oh, you got a question?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I was just going to say it might be useful to go over copying the folder into the WebWorks. I assume you do it the same as a WebWorks extension when you copy the folder into the. Just because you didn't touch on that.
So
oh, okay. Well, I'll get to that in a little second. But yeah, so like I was saying, I end up just using the QNX way, and then. The problem is when you compile this, you get this .so file, which is what you need to put into the WebWorks folder. So like a project will probably look like, on your sample in your www folder, all your native extensions goes into this ext-qnx folder. And so when you build your app with your native extensions, you're going to put your native extensions in here, and it's going to look something like this, yeah. This is a little old, so it's going to have your client JS manifest JSON, and it's also going to have two folders, which should be named like device and simulator, and that's where the .so file goes, and that's basically how you install a native extension into a Cordova project. The second step that you're going to have to do is go in your config.xml, and then I don't know if this still has it in here. No, it doesn't have it, but. Anyways,
add a feature.
Yeah, you're basically going to have to add a feature and go like ID equals like Cordova dot example or whatever you called it. And
that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and that name is determined by what you define in the manifest.json file, I believe, the namespace of the file.
Yep, that's right.
So this is what it should be in your config.xml file. Yeah, like I said, I was trying to get this to work all off the command line because I like command line, and
yep, I like command line
too.
too.
It runs pretty much in sync with a lot of the Cordova stuff, a lot of Cordova tools for building, creating, and deploying a project, which are actually just built off like the Ant tools. So if you're familiar with the Ant tools of a BlackBerry project, you can do things like if I just go to sample, or no, dist /sample, yeah, and I do like Ant's BlackBerry build or something like that. It'll build it, or I can do like Cordova /build BlackBerry.
I always use Ant.
Yeah, I used to use Ant quite a bit, but we have these Cordova scripts, so they're actually in line with all the platforms that we have, so Android, iOS, BlackBerry, and any other platform. You can use the Cordova scripts to do these kind of things.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, but I still use Ant quite a bit, actually, too. But anyways, going back to actually making the extensions and such, let's just git checkout master.
All right, any questions so far?
Yeah, any stuff? No? Yes?
Is it interesting, by the way?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
I'm just going to keep on talking.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to keep on talking until the time runs out. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
There are too many ways to do the same thing, no? Because you have report, you have now one with Cordova, you have this filter script that created the Cordova
Right.
extension,
Right.
but in the previous session, you built an extension of WebWorks using report and copying some files in some folder.
Right.
I think it's the same.
Yes, it is actually the same. So for BlackBerry WebWorks, right? what from our perspective is that we want to make it exactly the same from a Cordova perspective, where everything, all the extensions that you actually create from our, specifically for WebWorks, will seamlessly just work on the Cordova platform, because Cordova is actually using our WebWorks APIs and our tools also in order to just build all of that stuff.
Yeah, so like the differences between a WebWorks project and Cordova project is not
Not
much. It's
is there any difference actually?
The only difference really is, other than like the tooling and everything like that, is just the inclusion of Cordova.js.
Yeah.
The inclusion of Cordova.js gives you all the Cordova APIs, which are in itself built off the WebWorks API.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
I mean,
the reason, yeah.
No, it helps cross-platform.
Yes, that's the reason why you would use Cordova on BlackBerry, because maybe you have an iOS project or Android project, and you want to bring over the BlackBerry. Well, then you can too, without having to worry about
because from our APIs start with BlackBerry dot whatever. Right? Cordova starts with what? Cordova dot whatever?
Navigator, actually.
Navigator,
yeah.
right, exactly.
So, like,
so
I'll just continue what I was doing.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm all over the place here. Yeah, I think this was the one that was kind of making, sorry. I gotta go through, okay. This is slightly different than the,
this is our sample.
This is a sample one, right, exactly.
So when you actually do, like, just now when I showed you new project, BlackBerry native, create a BlackBerry native extension, this is actually the sample that gets loaded up, the template that gets loaded up.
Yeah, so like I said, I was having a lot of problems getting my command line stuff working and compiling. So what I ended up doing was just putting everything in this IDE and just put like the source here. So this is the same echo file that I showed earlier, and as well as the header file. And then I basically just built it from here. So you just do a build project, like do its thing. And the other thing I should note that you do need the native SDK to build this. So that's like a gig download, so make sure you have that when you do this.
Yep.
Actually, when you have the IDE, you will have the SDK, because this IDE comes with the SDK.
So just to show you where the SDK is, let me go back to my command line over here. Exit there. So the SDK for the BBNDK, right? For Windows would be wherever you install it, which is C drive/BBNDK. For the Mac, it's usually under application/BBNDK. And when you go into here, you'll be able to see, let me go all the way up there. You'll be able to see a few of the shell scripts. So if you want to do command line, you basically need to set up the environment, which is bbndk-environment shell. Wait, source.
Yeah, you got
sorry, I got to source that. Sorry, source that bbndk and I can't spell. ndk environment _ 10.10261, and then you'll be able to use all our BlackBerry tools.
See, that's what I was doing before, and then I hit make, or you hit the command make on your where your stuff is. So if I could just go back to, I think I just CD'd out or changed, where are you? Okay, all right, don't worry about it.
Yep.
Yeah, so anyways, so there was that file or folder where I had like a make file, and you're basically, if I did like the source inside that folder and then hit make, it would compile all the objects into a SO file. And then you take that SO file and your .js files into the ext folder. But I was getting a problem where it was trying to find some crazy library but couldn't find it, and that's why it was failing. So that's why I put it into here. And
crazy library?
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
Which library is that?
It was, I can't remember right now.
-lbb?
Not that one, I don't think.
-l.
But it was essentially trying to find some library that wasn't there.
All right.
Anyways.
So let me show you some fun stuff then.
Oh, okay.
Native stuff.
Maybe you could.
So let me show you. If you are looking for the libraries and everything, right? It's actually located in Target. The version number, which is 10. Right now, the latest one is 10_261, which I think I just downloaded. Under QNX, okay? It's under under ARM, under under lib. These are the basic libraries that are available. So you have like the gestures, the libc. Which ones are more interesting? The lib gestures, the lib image, libm, which is the math. What else? Lib pps, lib socket, and basically everything that you require here. Another directory that you want to take a look at is the user directory, which has more of the libs over here.
Okay.
So this is where most of them are located, like the Qt stuff. More of the Qt, the bbpim, multimedia, device, basically all the libs that we require that's BB specific.
Okay, I probably was just missing like an include somewhere then.
Right, exactly. Right. So if you want to take a look at the include, it's actually under user. Oh, sorry. It's back down under user include. Oops. It's under here, and all the include files are here.
Oh. Okay.
Ah.
All right.
There we
maybe
go.
in a week from now, I'll get it working.
Yeah.
So anyways.
You've got my contact. You've got my
there
email
we go.
address. You know,
I learned
I can
something
help.
from this
I
presentation
can
while
help
presenting.
There we go. That's what's so fantastic about this impromptu presentation.
Yeah.
So is there anything else we want to show?
Well, let's see if we can actually, like, I have this built and everything. Let's just see if I can actually get my Cordova.echo thing working on my repo. So I already got it pre-built. I don't want to build everything again. Where did I put it? There you are. So, you know what? This might be a good time to show.
What do you want to show?
So there's another thing that I've been working on. If any of you are familiar with the plugin install kind of stuff from PhoneGap, we're slowly kind of working to a point where we're trying to get like discoverable plugins and installing that onto your device. So
Sweet.
yeah. So no more of kind of like, just kind of like this one JS file that contains all the Cordova API. The idea or the goal that we're trying to strive for is like, you make a Cordova project and you do like Cordova add plugin geolocation or Cordova add plugin like contacts or something
like npm.
Yeah,
and,
it's very close to that. Yeah. So we're hoping that one day this could like, make it that way as opposed to just having one huge blob.
I think that's more useful, right?
Yeah,
Ruby has their own no, not Rails. What am I talking about?
The gems?
Gems,
Yes.
yeah, the gems, right, and all that.
Yeah, so that not only does that make everything kind of componentized and make things a little smaller and less cruft, but it also allows the community to add their own sort of PhoneGap plugins to like an NPM somewhere.
And make it more discoverable.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what we're trying to strive for in the coming months. I'm not sure exactly when it'll be out, but it's definitely the next big thing coming from Cordova.
What other fancy stuff can we talk about from Cordova that's not out there yet?
What other fancy stuff? Plugin stuff is mainly the big one. I'm not sure what other stuff exactly. A lot of it's kind of just like how
in flux.
Well, not in flux, but just kind of like the internal is how it works and stuff like that. So there's a lot of discussion in the mailing list if you're interested in that. You can subscribe to our mailing list. Just go to cordova.io again, and there's like a mailing list. You can follow that. It's good stuff.
All right. Any questions so far?
Any questions?
Any questions so far?
No. Okay.
No? A little bit too advanced? Yes. Yes, sir. So, sorry, can you repeat
Android
that
Cordova application on BlackBerry 10. Oh, okay. So the question was, can you run an Android Cordova application on BlackBerry?
I know that I can run Android applications on BlackBerry 10.
Yeah, they're compiling thing.
But Android application made with
PhoneGap.
All right. So, do you want me to take it?
Sure. Yeah, you can take that.
Whether if it works, right? So if you build a PhoneGap application that's on Android and you port it over to our platform, right? That long way route. Yes and no. So when I say yes, is when you're not using any of the plugins. If you're not using any of the plugins that require like native extensions into the Android the Android itself, then yes, it will work to a certain extent. Actually, does it work?
Well, it's all web tech technically, right?
Right.
So it should work, but the plugins themselves won't work.
The plugins themselves won't work, right?
Yeah.
So that's the no.
Yeah.
The plugins themselves won't work.
But if you've written everything in your Android application as web tech, there's nothing stopping that it shouldn't work in BlackBerry.
So WebView for Android works perfect. Not perfect, but I mean it works on our platform.
Yeah.
When you port it over. So yeah.
So like, if you ever use build.phonegap.com, which is our cloud service, you're basically just uploading a www folder and it builds to all the platforms. And so, you know, in that sense, like, just having your www folder will work for every platform kind of thing.
Yeah.
Although the mantra is, what is it? Write once, debug everywhere. So on every platform, there's always going to be these little quirks to, like, you know, the fix.
Yes.
Just to clarify, you're talking porting through building with Cordova, just because there's also that command line script that lets you convert your Android APK into.
Right.
And I've been told that doesn't work with a web-based app.
It doesn't?
That's what I've been told, but I have no experience.
Well, for that, right? I'm okay. So
if you're making a web-based, okay, so the question is, or the comment is, if you're using the Android or the BlackBerry converter from Android to BlackBerry, and it's a web project in the first place, it won't work in BlackBerry, right?
Yeah, I was told it was mainly for Java.
Okay. Because the way that launching a WebView works in Android is essentially you have some sort of Java file, and it points to some like index.html or whatever,
Exactly.
and it launches a WebView with that in it. So it would seem to me that instead of relying on that tool, just forget about it. Take whatever web assets you have in that Android directory and just put it in WebWorks.
Yeah. That would be my recommendation, unless you're using like the plugins from Cordova, then that's going to be slightly tricky because we don't quite have, actually we don't have, do we have any of the plugins yet?
I haven't checked in a little while, so.
But I mean, the last time I checked, we don't have a lot of plugins from Cordova that majority of the people are using on our BlackBerry 10 at the moment. They haven't ported it over yet. So yeah, that might be something that might be a concern, right? But going forward in terms of web technologies, HTML5, whatever that you do in purely HTML5 will definitely work on our platform. Yeah, of course we do have some of the HTML5 technologies from the final that hasn't been implemented yet, and also some of the stuff from the experimental of HTML5 specs that hasn't been implemented yet. But majority of it has been implemented already for our platform.
All right.
Does that answer your question? Doesn't sound quite convinced.
That's a somewhat nod.
Somewhat not.
Yes.
Yes, maybe. All right. So I guess the way would be just to rip it out from Android and just don't bother with the Android port, right? Even if you're going to use plugins, right, it will not work. Right, so if you're going to use plugins from Cordova, it'll probably not work even if you put it in Android and bring it over. Right?
Yeah, because the problem is, like, while you have the native plugin written in Java or whatever, you need to have the BlackBerry 10 version of the native part, unless it's already exposed through like HTML5, for example. I think like there's a lot of HTML5 sort of specs already implemented in BlackBerry, so you basically get that for free. So I think like the HTML5 like file API, while it's implemented in Java on the Android or Cordova side, it's already free in BlackBerry. So when you make that JavaScript call, it doesn't have to go to the native. It's already there. So things like that can work. So, but you would, just take a look at the BlackBerry HTML5 APIs and see if that's there or not. Yeah, but anyways, I think we're starting to run out of time here.
No,
so,
we still have another 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes? Okay, let's see if I can get this working. So there's this thing called Plugman, And that's the discoverable plugin stuff. So the way that works, you do the node plugin.
And this is from Cordova, right?
Yeah, this is the stuff I've been actually working on like last week. So hopefully it
Fresh
works.
and new.
So we're gonna do this. So we're gonna set the platform to platform, not project, to BB10. Project is here because I'm in the sample directory, or am I going to have to go one down? I think I go one down. Yeah.
Yep.
And
that's
then
right.
I'm going to look for the plugin that I got.
So what is this plugman about?
It's the tool to make to install plugins from a repo into your project. And
I
so
see.
it works on Android and iOS, and I just got BlackBerry working, BlackBerry 10 that is. So if we go back to my Cordova.echo example here, you can see I kind of have like this format. So I got this plugin.xml file, which describes where things go exactly in my repo and some other stuff. So I've made sure that it's using Cordova and it's above 2.30. So any sort of plugin that you make, you can kind of control the versions of what versions it should work on or should work on. There's some extra syntax to define that. So if you go to like github.com/, I guess you can just go off of mine, plugman. Yeah. And there's descriptions here of how to use it, how the directory structure should work, the plugin.xml manifest file, which is what I was just describing, and other things like that. So yeah, so I got my platform for BlackBerry 10. I'm going to target that config.xml file and make sure it adds in my feature ID, and it's going to use these to copy these into the right place. And if we look in the structure of this, you can see in the source, this is the BlackBerry 10, all the things that I need. And www is going to be empty because I'm not copying anything. It's not going to be like anything that's just for the www. So anything that's kind of cross-platform, so like a .js file or something like that. So let's see if this works. Yeah.
Oh, does it work?
Oh, that's because it's already undefined. Okay, that's fine. It's cool. It's cool. We got this.
It's great.
It's already there. That's why it's failing. So I'm just going to take everything out there.
Oh,
Why?
come on. Maybe an XML file or something?
Hold on. Is it because...
You haven't implemented remove yet.
Hold on. I want to see exactly where I am. Cordova favorite webhooks.
All right, in the meantime, like any other questions? Any dying questions that you want to find out about, like Cordova?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can answer it right now.
That's me.
What do you
Should be
think?
okay.
Do you guys like what this, like, you know, instead of doing a plain porting Cordova, do you guys like this extra information? And you know, getting into native and whatnot, and how to create extensions.
I know
and
why.
so on. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I forgot. It adds it to the config XML,
That's
and the
right.
reason why it knows it's there,
Because it reads it.
yeah, it reads the config XML. All right, let's try this baby again. Plugin installed.
There we go. That was
All right, so
quick.
now we look in here. It has the Cordova stuff, everything that we need, and if we look at the config.xml, it should have that feature ID. Boom. And then I'm gonna try and deploy on the device and see if it works.
Do you have a device?
I can just use yours.
Okay.
All right. The only thing I need to do actually
You want me to plug it in?
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
just gonna have to update our project properties here. So I already got the preloaded stuff with all my SDK, but the thing that I need to change are my device password, which is holy.
Yes, that's right. Oh, you just showed
Yeah, I
everyone your
remember that.
device password.
Yeah, well, whatever. It's not like they're, I don't know. it's
Yeah, I
wrong.
know, right? Just
And-
make them anything I want. Yeah,
and
it's
then-
already
okay,
plugged in. It's
so we're
in
gonna
development mode.
run
Everything's
QNX.
done. Do you need to put the pin number?
No,
No. Okay.
that's only if you want to do some other stuff.
Okay.
I think if you put it in debug mode, then it doesn't use the signing server. Is that right?
No, it does.
Oh, it
because the ends actually creates the
Sorry about that.
The ends actually creates the debug token, and then loads it in before it loads the. Yeah, you have to like fix that script.
Oh no, I can't make it because I already named a previous thing Cordova example because I make these all the time.
Just change the version.
Yeah, and then.
No, just change the version.
Oh, you only changed the version
Yeah,
for you.
that's all you
Okay.
need to do. Just
Right.
change the version. Oh,
That's too high.
Just change a point version or something like that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Usually that's a problem. So if you get like that signing server error or this previous sign, just change your version or
Yeah,
name.
just increment the version, and that's the reason why we have a debug mode. It's because you don't have to increase the version.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Right. So increasing the version and signing your bar file or your application, you're only supposed to sign it when you're doing doing your regular builds, right? So if it's a build server that you want to deploy into like testers, to testers and whatnot, then you sign it. You deploy it to the testers to test it on their actual devices. But if you're a developer and you're just testing it on your developer device, you want a debug mode.
All right, it's installing the device.
Let's go to the BB device.
All right, it's actually not going to show anything there because it's actually just like, it's all through the console log. So,
Right.
Device
So
is
it's not
okay,
going to show anything?
so it's worked.
Okay.
So kind of go back in here.
All right.
All right, now the moment of truth.
Ping, echo, come on.
Okay, that code is recognized there. So how did I define this message?
Yeah.
As hi.
I think so, yeah. No, not message.
2 seconds.
And that's why documentation for plugins is very important.
Yeah, I'm the one who wrote this. Too. Jeez. How embarrassing.
Message,
Yeah.
Message, colon arguments. Oh, it's not working.
That should do it. Type some function, Valiant, Cordova, Echo. Oh, is it because I need, oh, I know I
Do echo.
do Echo.
Yeah, that's right.
And then message,
Hi.
hi. Boom! There we go.
Woohoo!
So it comes back, that's from the native side. So this is like your
Callback.
Callback and
Yep.
whatever, and boom. There you go.
There you go. It works.
That's it.
That's how you create a plugin in Cordova for BlackBerry.
Yeah. So yeah, any questions?
Any questions?
No? Yes?
Hey, you did a great job,
Yeah,
Like,
I guess so. Like,
becoming impromptu and just showing something interesting and just like, bam, it works. Well, with a little bit of hiccups.
yeah, well, I mean.
All right, so I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. Let's go. How do you go backwards? Let's just go back to the slides. Oops, PC. Wrong one, PC. These are just some links for the Cordova project and where you can get all the documentations and download the zip, the zip file and all of that stuff over there. That's just some of that stuff over there. Do your surveys, appreciation. Oh, join us at the BlackBerry Jam Europe Appreciation event tonight at the Europa foyer on the Rise ground floor.
That's right after this, isn't it?
Yeah, it is,
All right, there you
actually.
go.
Yeah, there we go. And that's my contact. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this session. Very impromptu session.
Yeah.
Thank
all
you
right.
very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Great job.
Very informative.
Yeah, I
all
know.
around.